of the characteristics of the Mahdi as well that are mentioned in the authentic hadith is that he shall be the leader of the entire Muslim ummah. And this is an amazing phenomenon, the likes of which we have not seen since the times of early Islam. Since the times of early Islam, our ummah has been disunited politically since the times of really, even in Ali radiallahu anhu's time, the ummah divided up into two, as we know, and the wars took place. And since that point in time, even the khulafa, at one point in time we had 3 khulafa ruling, one of them in Cairo, one of them in Baghdad, and one of them in Andalus, in Qurtuba. We had 3 khulafa, each one saying, I am Khalifatullah fil ard. And throughout Islamic history, we've had many dynasties who were acting as if they were khulafa, even if they didn't call themselves khulafa. The ummah has never been united politically since the time of the khulafa ar-Rashidun, but there shall come one time when it will be united again, and that will be when? It will be under the time of the Mahdi, and that point in time will be of the greatest periods known to Islamic history. Our Prophet ﷺ praised the Mahdi in a number of hadith, and he said, and this is one of those hadith that is in Sahih Muslim, so it is an authentic hadith, but the word Mahdi is not mentioned. The Prophet ﷺ said, towards the end of times there shall be a Khalifa who shall give money to the poor and he won't even count it. He's praising, it's going to be generous. And another hadith, that towards the end of times there shall be the Imam shall be from amongst wa imamukum minkum. Sorry, let me rephrase that, sorry. Not towards the end of time. The hadith begins, essentially it translates as, can you imagine? But the wording is, how will you be? But when the Prophet said, how will you be? What it means in English is, can you imagine? Can you imagine that time? Can you imagine a time when Isa ibn Maryam will come down from the heavens? This hadith is Sahih Muslim. And your Imam is from amongst you. وَإِمَامُكُم مِّنكُم. And Isa will come down at Fajr time, and he will be asked by the Imam, come lead Salah. And Isa will say, no, the Iqamah was called for you. So he will be led by one of you, takrimatan li hadhihi al-ummah, as an honor to this ummah. This hadith is in Sahih Muslim. It is authentic. Does it mention the word Mahdi? No. What does it mention? وَإِمَامُكُم مِّنكُم. This is one of the most authentic hadith about the concept of the Mahdi. Who will have the honor that Isa will come down and he is the Imam? Who will have the honor that Isa will pray behind somebody from our ummah? That's what the Prophet said. He will be from our ummah and Isa will pray behind him. Who is that person? He is none other than the Mahdi. So the concept of the Mahdi is found in Bukhari and Muslim without the term Mahdi. But the term Mahdi is found in every single other book. In another hadith, also in Abu Dawud and Muslim Imam Ahmad, we learned that the Mahdi shall rule for 7 years. In the authentic hadith it says, he shall rule for 7 years. So we have a time frame as well, that the Mahdi will be powerful. The Mahdi will not be alive, because he's going to be alive for many years, but he will rule for 7 years. So he will establish his authority, his dominion, and he will rule for 7 years. We also learn, and this hadith as well is in Sahih Muslim, so this is another one of those hadith that mentions the Mahdi indirectly. We also learn that there shall be a great war taking place, and the Muslims will be successful, and a rumor will be spread that the Dajjal has come out. So their Imam will take the army to try to find Dajjal, but it will be found that the rumor is not true. When they have found the rumor is not true, lo and behold, Dajjal will come at that point in time. So we learn from this, again the word Mahdi doesn't come. We learn from this, when will the Mahdi come? Before Dajjal. If you attended on Wednesday, my lecture series I'm giving, I said the Mahdi is the last of the minor signs that links to the major signs. Now you understand why. The Mahdi is the last of the minor signs that links to the major signs. In the time of the Mahdi, Dajjal will come. The Muslims will attempt to fight Dajjal back and forth. Will they be successful? No. No one can kill the Dajjal, not even the Mahdi. Who can kill the Dajjal? Only one, and that is Isa ibn Maryam. But what will the Mahdi do? The Mahdi will provide peace and stability for the people with him. Those that are with the Mahdi, some protection will be given. Some safety will be there. And they will be running and fighting in various places. Many will die shaheed, but the group will still be there. Until, the hadith mentions in Sahih Muslim, this one, this army will be in Damascus, in Damascus. And they will be praying in the Umayyad mosque. The hadith doesn't say Umayyad mosque, the hadith says عند المنارس البيضاء, with the white minaret. And as the iqamah is given for Salat al-Fajr, lo and behold, they will see Isa coming down, holding on to two angels. And he will come down, they will pause Fajr until he comes down. You don't have to ask identity when somebody comes from the heavens, okay? It's pretty obvious who that person is going to be. You don't have to wonder, already the Dajjal has come, already things have happened, they're waiting for him to come. They're literally waiting, when is Isa gonna come? So they're there in Damascus, waiting. When he comes, they know exactly who it is. So as soon as he comes down, the Imam, hadith doesn't say Mahdi, the Imam, your Imam, will offer him the salah, and he will say, no, the iqamah was given for you, you go ahead and lead. And then, after this, there is no mention of the Mahdi whatsoever. This is the final mention. Why? Because obviously with the coming of Isa, the Mahdi is eclipsed now. The job of the Mahdi is done. Does he live longer? Does he die right after this? Is he alive to see Dajjal killed? Not a single peep in the hadith. Nothing. Goes silent. We don't know. Nobody can say anything. He might be alive till the end of times. He might die a natural death right after Fajr. We don't know. His role is gone. His job has been done. What was his job? For those 7 years, to bring stability and izzah at a time of great tyranny. The world is having global issues. The Muslim Ummah is on the decline, and the Mahdi will come and cheer people up and make people realize there is hope, there is khair. Those who stick with him, they will be united with the Ummah, and there shall be peace where he is until the Dajjal comes. When the Dajjal comes, the Mahdi will just do whatever he can, waiting for Isa to come, and then Isa alayhi salam will come and take over from there. The army of the Mahdi will unify the Muslim world. The army of the Mahdi will unify the Muslim world, and there shall be peace and justice until Dajjal comes. And when Dajjal comes, once again there will be turmoil, and then Isa will come. Once again there will be peace, and then Ya'juj and Ma'juj. So we're going to talk about this towards the end of times. You guys remember your sine wave from university, right? You remember your sine wave? Towards the end of times, the sine wave goes higher and lower and higher and lower. This is what's going to happen. That from bad to worse to better to worse to even better to worse, this is what's going to happen. Very quickly, dramatic shifts. This is what we see in this hadith, right? So the Mahdi, Dajjal, Isa, they're all going to be doing these things. And basically the hadith mention all of these characteristics of the Mahdi, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. So to conclude, inshallah ta'ala, it's a very simple conclusion, and that is that the concept of the Mahdi is very, very explicit in the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we have many affirmations from our classical scholars as well. And one of the famous scholars, and with this I will end, he said, if the Mahdi happens to pass you in the street, do not give him your oath of allegiance until the Ummah has done so and you are certain he is the Mahdi. Don't follow the claim of anybody until the sign comes from Allah. What is the sign from Allah? What will happen in Mecca? What will happen in Mecca? No one should claim he's the Mahdi. It will happen. The Mahdi will not be a superhuman figure. The Mahdi is not going to be a cure for everything, that we just sit back and say, oh, until the Mahdi comes we do nothing. No, the Mahdi will just be a unifying factor, but the Muslims will still have to be behind him. We'll have to help him. We'll have to fight against the enemies. The Muslims have to do their stuff. Don't use the concept of the Mahdi as a crutch. I'm not going to do nothing till the Mahdi comes. No. The Mahdi will, when he comes, there's going to be a lot of work. Until the Mahdi comes, we all have to do as much as we can. Allah is not going to excuse us if we say, I did nothing because I'm waiting for the Mahdi. It doesn't work that way. You have to do everything you can and leave the rest to Allah. Yes, we believe in the Mahdi. Yes, the Mahdi will come. But until he comes, there's a lot of work that we need to do. And Allah will not excuse us from doing that work just because we believe in the concept of the Mahdi. I hope that inshaAllah ta'ala this has cleared up any confusions or issues about the concept of the Mahdi.